Hey y'all, welcome back to Jack's Drinkwater's Southern Cooking and Barbecue. In today's video, wicked Sriracha chicken wings on your rotisserie. Let's do this. Before we get our wings seasoned up and on our rotisserie, we need to set up our grill. So how I've set this grill up is I've opened my bottom vents to 1/4 of the way open. We're gonna be using the slow and sear for this cook. If you didn't have the slow and sear, all you'd have to do is just bank all your charcoal onto the side of the Weber kettle. So I filled the slow and sear up about 1/4 of the way with charcoal briquettes. I've taken a small chimney starter and I filled that up about 3/4 of the way, and we're gonna light that. After it gets lit and nice and ashed over, we're gonna pour those lit charcoals over the top of the unlit briquettes. Now let's prepare Oprah Winfrey for her oil bath. Going in with just, I don't know, a couple of tablespoons of grapeseed oil in here. Now, I got about 30-ish wings in here made up of flats and drumettes. So we're just gonna move these around, get that oil nice. We're just doing this so our rub will stick. Now, one of the things I wanna tell you about the rub is you don't wanna use a rub with a lot of sugars because it's gonna gunk up your rotisserie, so go light on any rubs that you use with sugars. Today, what I happen to be using is, I'm gonna use this Killer Hogs. It's an all-purpose rub. It looks like that. Basically, I think it's salt, pepper, garlic. So we're just gonna lightly go over the top of these wings like so. Give them a toss. Do it one more time. On top of that, we're going to be using this is some John Henry's red oak rub. This is going to give it a nice little bit of color. It's got very little sugar in it. We're going to lose a lot of this rub while it's rotisserieing, but it will keep some on there, which is fine because we're going to be tossing it in a sauce. So that'll about do it. So let's just set these off to the side and prepare our sauce and light up our grill. So we got us a pot here. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons or so of some oil, followed by about 3 to 4 pieces of cloves, I should say, of minced garlic. And we're just gonna saute that up till it gets a little translucent, you know, like a minute or 2. Nice and translucent. We're gonna go in with 8 ounces of tomato sauce, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. Give that a little bit of a stir, and I know what you're thinking, well, what's up with the Sriracha? Well, here comes the Sriracha, or also known as the cock sauce. 3 tablespoons. And a little extra. And now we simmer for about 5 minutes so we can get all of these ingredients incorporated so we can bring on the flavor town. Our coals look ashed up enough for me, so we'll just scatter these over the top. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not really looking for any set temperature. I mean, if you were maybe 225 or something, this setup here just works for me. I don't really monitor my temp. I just, you know, every now and then I'll run over there and look at my wings, and when I think they're close to being ready, I'll probe them. So the setup I have for the Weber kettle is what they call the Cajun Bandit rotisserie. And it's just this round attachment that sits on here like so. And as you can see here, this is your little attachment here. And that just goes on here like that. One of the things that I highly recommend you doing is shooting Pam all over this rotisserie cage. It's gonna make cleanup a lot easier in the end. Now, before we load up these wings, what I like to do is stick this empty basket on here like this. All right, I'm liking the centerness of that there, so now we'll take it off and load it up with our wings. Let's load these wings up in here. You can fit like up to 50 wings in this rotisserie basket here. Now I got this rotisserie basket off of Amazon. I will leave links in the description to the Slow and Sear by S&S Grills. I'll leave the link to the basket in there. I'll also leave a link to the Cajun Bandit in there as well. All right, we're gonna shut this joker up. Before you put your wings in there, we wanna make sure, I'm gonna use this, what they call this is a dripping griddle. This is by S&S Grills. We're just gonna put that in there like that. That should catch all our drippings. And you'll notice that I'm sitting this in the center, and this S&S keeps everything back over here because you don't want, whew, as the wings render their chicken fat, you don't want that falling onto open flame because then you'll have a bushfire. You may have to put your counterweight on the edge. I'm just kind of let it go around 1 or 2 revolutions just to see what we're looking like. We don't want any major jumping of the rotisserie. Okay, so we got everything set up to how I like it. I'm gonna take some of this sugarberry wood and I'm gonna put it in the extreme back of this S&S. I don't want it, the wood will catch fire, and I don't want it catching fire and flaming up, licking these wings. And we're gonna put the lid on it and we're gonna let it go. These usually take about an hour or so. While these are going, we're gonna make us up a blue cheese dipping sauce. Everything's pretty much hands off from this point forward. Hey, do you know what wicked hens lay?
Wicked eggs?
Deviled eggs. So let's get this blue cheese dipping sauce going. We're gonna start out with a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, also known as mayonnaise. A 1/4 cup of sour cream, whole fat. A 1/4 cup of buttermilk. 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. A couple of dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Whew, that was a little bit more than a couple. Good pinch of salt. Good pinch of pepper. I'm gonna give this a little whisk first. Get it nice and stirred up before we add that blue cheese in here. Add a packet of ranch dressing mix in here and you got a ranch dressing. All right, we're gonna do about a 1/2 cup of blue cheese. And this is a 4-ounce package blue cheese. Don't skimp on the blue cheese, guys. Get a good quality blue cheese. Look at the green. I mean, you see all that? Those veins? Just kind of break it up in there. Go ahead and give it a stir. Get your blue cheese broke up in there. You may have to use a fork, which is what I'm gonna do. Just kind of mash that in. All right, I'm liking this consistency here. Nice and chunky. I like it chunky. Let's give it a taste. Brilliant. So let's go stick this in the fridge and check on our wings. All right, let's give these badgers a look-a-see here. A look-a-see? Did I just say look-a-see? Whatever that means. All right, I want to give them a little test with my Thermopin here. I know we're gonna be there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're well over where we need to be. I'm liking the temp of these wicked wings. Let's take them off the rotisserie, plate them up, and chow down. So what I like to do is, I don't like to put all these wings in there and sauce them all at the same time. I like to take 5 or 6 or ever how many I plan on eating right this minute and sauce them. That way the skin will still stay a little bit crispy. And, you know, if you got somebody over, like my wife, that doesn't really like a sauced wing, she can just eat them how she wants. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of sauce on here. I like it this way too because you can kind of control the amount of sauce because they won't be too saucy. All right, and then I'm going to just give these a toss. Now I'm going to spare you guys the tossing of these because frankly I'm really not a good tosser.
You're a good tosser.
I know all you English are laughing your behinds off right now. All right, let's dig in. It's fantastic with that blue cheese. Let's try it kind of without it on this side. Are you kidding me? So delicious. You guys got to give this a try. This recipe is for everybody, except for maybe those that live in that state that chickens tend to avoid.
What state is that?
Kentucky. All right, guys, wicked sriracha wings on your rotisserie. Do it. You know, there's nothing better than sitting around at Hooters, drinking a beer, eating some wings, and watching the game.
Is that the only thing you're watching at Hooters?
Absolutely.